I couldn't be more excited for today's guest. I'm actually sitting in my guest for Healthy Bytes house, I feel like. This is Bob McCutcheon, Robert William McCutcheon, better known as Bob McCutcheon. I like to call him the great Bob McCutcheon. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for your mentorship, your coaching. We're at Neville Island.
Yeah.
And we're at the Vault Recording Studio.
Yeah, it's our business. We bought the building back in 2014 and opened it up in 18.
One thing before we get going on what it is. Why did you choose Neville Island?
It's close to home. I mean, that's a Aaron Neville.
Aaron Neville.
Aaron
That's
Neville.
all I can think
There
about.
we go.
Just enjoy for a second. Famous.
Great voice.
Him and Linda Ronstadt.
There we go.
I am an 80s guy, so I don't know why, but I started talking about Aaron Neville, and I just can't get that out of my head, so I had to play the song. So tell me about,
Neville
what
Island.
is this? What is this?
So it's a recording studio. We built it and completed it around 2016. It was a personal project studio of ours that we started actually running more commercially in 2018. But this thing here is a vintage Neve console. But the most interesting part about it is the original owner of this in 1977 was George Harrison.
George Harrison.
The George Harrison.
Like the Bob McCutcheon.
Of the Beatles. Had it in his studio in Nashville, and then he sold it to Scott Litt, who was a famous producer who had it in his studio in L.A. Scott produced R.E.M. He did Nirvana's MTV Unplugged.
Nirvana.
Yeah, a lot of famous
My
records.
brother Adam loved Nirvana. That's what I remember.
Well, yeah.
You know, one of the big things with Healthy Bytes is that we're going to merge in some eating and talking about what's healthy and what's going on today. But before we do that, I will never forget meeting you. You're always accessible. And I remember the two of us meeting at PPG Place. And as I joined PwC in 2010, November of, I remember thinking, like, you have the coolest role, right? I mean, a city this size of Pittsburgh, and I'm like, like, that's a cool role, right?
Yeah, this guy here is the one who looked at me and said, I want your job.
Is that something you shouldn't say to somebody?
No, it worked. I was happy to give it to you.
And I said, I want it in 10 years. And you said, how about 5? And I'm like, ooh, that's too close, right? It ended up being 7.5, and we'll get into kind of the timetable on that. But tell us about yourself. You went from, accountant to musician, right? That's quite a hop. Give us your background.
Actually, truth be told, I went from musician to accountant back to musician.
Wait, picture, please.
Yeah.
That's Bob's picture as a rocker.
Yeah. I was always a musician. I, played in bands and wrote and recorded music all the way back in high school when I started my first recording studio, actually working my way through college. Yeah, and it just, I kind of fell into the accounting and had a knack for that and started with the firm. So I started with Coopers and Lybrand at the time, right out of college. So my two boys, Ryan and Brett, were both musicians, and, so you could see the passion for music continuing in the family.
Why the quick switch career-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, there's a couple of reasons. Probably the most important one was, we had a tragedy that occurred in our lives. We lost our older son, Ryan, back in 2017. And I think that was just a moment of clarity, right? So we kind of hit a point where we decided we needed to stop and pause and, think about, what we wanted to do with our time, what our purpose was.
I think Ryan would be beyond proud and happy of what, you, Dana, and Brett have done. I can't walk around the studio here without seeing Ryan somewhere, which I think is unbelievable. We're going to figure out a way to, dedicate the first season of shows at the end and show Ryan his picture and the Rhythm 19 Fund.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is never easy. Just awful. And but you guys are trying to move forward and do what you can do. And he would be saying thank you. He's smiling right now at this conversation in this studio that you are working day to day with Dana. I'm not sure Dana, does she want to see you every day in the studio? She just said that you tried to get her to come back to the studio daily. And she's been great. Like when you and I were preparing for this, I love seeing her. But does she really want to be with you every day?
It's interesting because, I kind of joke around that this is my happy place, right? I mean, music is definitely cathartic in terms of where you can spend your time and how you can release some of that energy.
Bob, it's that time. We have to look at these healthy bites. All right, let's do it.
Which one first?
We're going to grab the sweet potato. Goji. We don't know. We'll figure that out later.
Dad, it's goji berry.
Make sure you mix it up. Pasty. Down the hatch.
Down the hatch.
It's getting worse for me. Maki berry. And by the way, I read a lot about this before. Grows wild in the Patagonia region of Chile. Not Chile, but Chile.
Dad, it's maki berry.
And has an antioxidant capacity of up to 4 times a blueberry. So why am I ever eating blueberries then?
I don't know.
All right, Bob's going in.
I'm going in
on this one.
I'm going.
Big bite. Get it big.
Ooh. Did you smell it first?
Oh. It tastes much better than it smells. Bob, it's time to rate. All right?
We're going to rate it.
Do you know the scale? The scale here, I'm going to remind you of the scale.
Okay.
It's 0-1 is a Mia, which is no thank you, I don't want that. A 5 is an Evan, which is I'll take that. Dad, get out of the pantry. I'm going to grab the extra last one. And then a 10 is a Chewy or Mr. Chew or Chewbacca. I'll eat anything. It doesn't matter if it's dirt. That's our dog.
Okay.
All right?
So, this isn't bad. It isn't bad. It's not like full of flavor to me.
What do we got?
I'd give this a 6.
6.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
Wow. I'm gonna clock in at a it's not an Evan. It's not a 5. It's definitely not a 5.
No, it's not a 5?
3.2.
3.2.
Means I would eat it if I had to, but I'm not sure I would like run to it.
Okay.
I think you said run. That's it, Bob. Thank you. Thanks for
thank
having
you.
us. Love you, man.
Love you,
Absolutely love you.